There we go. Welcome to Twitch TV and Offensive Combat. I'm Jeremy Dunham.
I'm Ben Coleman.
And I apologize in advance. I'm very sick, but I came in specifically today to host this stream with Ben, whom you guys may have seen before. He's our lead level designer here. There goes Gabe in the background. Hi, Gabriel. Ben's using his headphones right now. And
I'm not sick, though.
That's right. That's why you're using his and not mine. But the whole office has really been kind of sick lately. Yeah, I mean,
the entire office.
It kind of looks like this.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. That's kind of our office in a nutshell lately.
Pretty much.
In how terrible it is. But welcome. This is Offensive Combat, Open Beta 2.0. Free to play first-person shooter. You can go play it right now, offensivecombat.com. Or you can go to facebook.com/offensivecombat and play it there. You don't have to give us any money, but we do like it when you do.
We love money. Oh, Gamers First.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you can go to Gamers First as well.
I don't know if that's...
Go for
okay.
it. Yeah. And here's the game. One thing that we have very special this week, I think, is that this footage here, as you can see by the lower left-hand corner there, is taken by Hate Mail Please, who's one of our community members, and he's also one of the best players of defensive combat in the world.
Holy smokes. Wait, he took this?
Yeah, he took this for us.
Oh.
And he's sitting along, and so thanks, shout out to him. We stuck his YouTube in there, so everyone go check out his videos. And also for clarifications here, if you're curious what he recorded it on, you see we have up there in the top, it's 1280 by 720 in the gorgeous setting.
Yeah, what?
See? Ooh,
yeah.
Effects. So let's give you a rundown of what we're going to do on the show. Because everybody's sick, and I mean most of the office, it's like a wasteland in here. We have a lighter show this week, but we do hope to answer a lot of your questions and address a lot of the stuff that folks are asking about, talk about what's coming up. And if you missed 2 weeks ago's broadcast, we'll also cover some of the things that we talked about then, in case you missed it or you want some further clarification, maybe get a few more details on things. But first up, let's go through the top 12 players. This is something we've been posting every single week, every Wednesday. You can go on offensivecombat.com and click on the top 12 players, which is right there at the bottom. In fact, let's go there. I will show you right now. It's the miracle of technology. There you go. So there you see right here, top 12 players. You click on that and it'll take you to who the top 12 players are. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use this graphic, which goes over which is a higher res version. And there you can see right now, a lot of movement. And one of the reasons you've seen a lot of movement this week in terms of who the top players are is because we've expanded the OCR, which is the Offensive Combat rating. That's the #1 rating that we use for everyone to be ranked. And essentially, there's been quite a few questions about how this works. Ben, do you have any insight on this, and without giving away too many secrets?
No, not at the moment. But so when it says kills, that is the actual number of kills that person has got. So Not a Super Bowl has killed 10,000 people in the past. How long is that?
Like today.
Today.
No, it's since the reboot. So that's since September 5th. So roughly a month.
Yeah. Wow.
Imagine do that. But the way that OCR works is, without getting too specific, there's a range that you can max out at around 2,000. And before it maxed out around the 1750-ish range up until this week. And that's why you see the higher scores compared to the previous week. Yep. And essentially, it's a gauge of how well you're doing against other members of the opposing team, how well you use teamwork, who you killed in that team, how well you've done overall as a player, and then we also use that for matchmaking. So while you might see somebody like Pavlidis, I picked the wrong example.
Yeah.
Let's say Malver.
I got it with question mark 20.
That's right. Let's go with Malver. So if you have someone like that, whereas 22,000 kills versus Drex is 9,000, who I saw on the stream, by the way, hello Drex, then even though the kills are a huge amount of difference there, you're going to have a true distance or a true gauge of their skill level, because even though someone might be playing more, you have proof that Drex is hanging with people that have been playing longer. And that's a really complicated way of saying that number is your highest. So there you go. And then there is the global players. Congratulations on the Super Bowl, who's #1. Hate Mail Please, who grabbed our footage. You see is #7. Last week was #1. These are our top players in America. Hate Mail Please was also number 1 last week. Not a suit ball. Stop here. And by America, this means anywhere in the Americas. This could be North America, South America, Central America. If you're there, that's where you're there. One clarification. This is another question that comes up. When it comes to OCR, if you are in Europe and you're playing on an American server, you're not going to show up on this top 12 list. And that's why you could be on the global list, but not the Americas, because you're not from the Americas. This is meant to be as a gauge of who the best player is in that region. And then here's Europe. One oversight. Malver should be on this list, but we accidentally left him off. So sorry. But you're on the global.
Yeah.
And next week, keep it up. You'll be there again. But there you see lots of movement there. TQTQ was number 1 last week. Dropped down to number 9. Aspartame, spelled with 4s, is now number 1.
Nice.
That's right. Drink diet soda, folks. Pardon me. Back to the game. Come on. There we go. Now, Ben, one of the questions that we've been getting from folks every week that we go to on the Offensive Combat forums, which is can be at offensivecombat.com. Just click on the forums button. You can also go there at Euphoria. Is we have a thread. And we have a thread that we put up there in preparation for every show that lets people ask us whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you want to know? According to Guami, who's a longtime player of the game, wants to know when we can expect some balance fixes to be rolled out. And specifically by balance fixes, I assume changes to how the weapons work and things like that. Because balance fixes is a very broad term. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I know that every update we do push out a series of balance updates, whether it's weapons, armor, other various stats. I currently don't know what is going on in weapon balancing world right now. That would be Michael, but he's not here. So the stats are analyzed weekly, and we do take the feedback and move where appropriate.
So specifically, I'm very sick and drugged up.
Yeah.
Specifically, we take numbers that we have and we compare them against each other and say, hey, look, this weapon looks overpowered, this weapon looks underpowered, or this weapon is working exactly the way that we want it to, and we make adjustments and we test it, and when it's ready to go, we push it out. Kind of like a baby.
Yeah.
That's bloody, though.
A little easier.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to worry about that.
Nope.
Grentox wants to know if clans and tournaments will be out in 2013.
I don't know.
Dynamite guess so far, Ben.
I do not know. I know they have been planned for a long time, and some initial work's been done on them.
So far, we've managed to... We can tell you it'll be out by the winter. And the release date, and that is for sure. The one thing that we don't want to overpromise a date and then not deliver, because let's be honest, in the past we've given dates and we've said, okay, we're going to be able to hit this particular date and it's going to come out, and then we ended up pushing it back or it didn't make it. So we're trying to be better safe than sorry this time. In regards to the tournaments, we are working on them. They're a high priority, very, very high. We've just got a whole bunch of meetings in the last couple of weeks really about what our next priorities are.
And the thing is, a lot of us are older, and we grew up when clans were just created in online gaming, so we want them as well.
That's right. At first, when he said a lot of us are older, we grew up when clans, I was like, uh-oh, what?
Well, no.
What is this? Where's this going?
Yeah.
What's funny is that when we talk about high priorities, One Black Doom 1 wants to know when we're going to have a friends list, and that is at the top of our priority list right now, is putting in a friends list into the game.
Well, we could grab DMAC right now, because he's working on it right now.
Is he over there?
He's over there.
You want to see if he wants to come on?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see it. We'll find out. This is we're going guerrilla style today. Michael and Archer, who are normally here, are not here today. Well, Michael's here, but he's so busy he couldn't make it, and Archer's out of the office. But the friends list is something that's been talked about before, and it's definitely high priority, and it's something that we're working on. And I think that when it finally gets in there, the new version, as opposed to the old version, great, that'll be cool. So this is Dan McDonald. Hi, Dan. You pop that on?
Oh, yeah.
So Dan, I was hoping you could talk a little bit about the friends list. It's one of the questions that we get a lot. We had it in the previous version of the game. Let me move this up for you.
Thanks.
We had the previous version of the game. It hasn't been in the game right now, but a lot of people have been asking about it. What can we expect to see? When can we expect to see it? We don't have a specific release date yet, but it's a high priority for us. Can you talk a little bit about the system and what we're working on?
Yeah, friends list is really an It's going to be the central location where you manage all of the sort of social interactions you have with other players in the game. So not only is it the place where you add and remove friends, and you can invite friends from Facebook and do all of those things that you can do before, it's also going to be the place where you start managing higher level social structures. Like, this is where you're going to invite friends to be in your party. This is where potentially, as we roll in more features, this would be where you'd be able to invite members to your guild if you had a guild or a clan, depending on what we call it. So all of the interactions that you want to do to interact with your fellow players is going to be here in this friends list. Chat is going to change a little bit with the friends list. We're moving away. For those of you who played before, we used to have chat boxes where you'd have individual little chat boxes for each player that you were talking to. And what we've done is we've consolidated those, and we're going to use a unified chat experience across all different areas of the game. So it's going to work much like, for those of you who have played MMOs, much like the chat logs that you have in those games, and it'll work in the lobby, in the menu, in the game session itself. You'll be able to do party chat, clan chat when those roll out, session chat, all the different types of things that you're used to doing, whispers, replies, that type of thing, with those types of keyboard shortcuts. So those of you who play MMOs are going to be familiar with it. Those of you who play just about every other FPS, it's going to feel very familiar as well.
And one of the two most common questions we get about this in regards to, besides how it works, is, one, why wasn't it in the game right away when we relaunched the open beta? And the answer is because you're rebuilding it, right?
Yes. Fundamentally, there were some performance issues with chat. And as we've been, with the relaunch and with some of our partners, we're expecting to have to scale to a lot more users. And chat wasn't really there on the server side. So we rewrote the server side to make it more scalable. And basically, the what we had in the game no longer was wired up to anything. So we took it out, and we've been working on reintegrating it now with this new, more scalable, more functional home server is what we're calling it. But it allows us to do a lot more deep integration with different players, knowing what their online status is, being able to tell you if they're in a game, if they're not. We did that before, but even more of that type of detail will be available to us. So I'm actually working on it right now. When Ben came and pulled me over, I was just at my desk working on it. So yeah,
That's
it's
right.
gonna.
So
Yeah, you have to wait a little bit longer.
But it is. You can confirm for everyone out there, it's high priority on our list to implement this thing and get it out there.
Oh yeah, no, it killed me. I was very disappointed that we weren't able to get it out there for the launch, for the relaunch, and it's been my number one thing since we got that out. We worked on stability. We were having some crashing issues, so that was high priority. But now that that's settled down a little bit, friends list, invites, all those things, chat, that's my number one priority right now, and I'm cranking away on it because I can't wait to see that back in the game.
So we don't have a specific date yet, so a lot of the questions we're getting right now of ETA is hard to hit. But if you were to give a rough estimate, how long do you think before we get at least some idea before? I don't know. Is it an easier answer to say, well, this will be done in X amount of weeks, or is it an easier to say, we'll know how long it'll take to be done in a couple of weeks? I mean, what is?
It really depends. Presence or chat is such a big feature. There's so many things that go into it, right? There's not just the regular chat. There's all the friends list management, the invites and stuff like that. And we can actually do some of the things independently, right? We don't have to wait until the entire kit and caboodle is there. Maybe we could start just having that basic chat in there. That's a seamless chat across, UI, the main menu, lobby, session. That one seems like the easiest one because that's the furthest along from the server side. I'm working mostly on the user experience in the UI and making that good. And Justin Parsons has been working on the server side, and the friends list stuff. That one's not quite as far along as chat, so I'm doing chat first. If that gets to a good place, we could ship that soon. And then friends, the actual inviting and seeing your friends again and being able to click on them in the menu, in the menus is probably the next thing right after that. So we might, if all goes, depending on when the next release is, those might go out together, or we might do chat and then the friends list.
Right. So in the foreseeable future, it's going to be part of one of our next updates.
Yep.
Safe to say in the next 2 to 3 updates.
Oh,
Somewhere in
definitely,
there.
definitely, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So the only thing that we don't have for you right now is when that next update's going to be. So stay tuned for those dates. We'll know more probably next week, I would say.
Yeah.
Next week or so. Okay, well, thanks, Dan.
You bet.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Well, I'm back, man. So we go. We hope that gave you some clarity on the friends list and what we have planned for it. We did mention updates.
Oh, he's got to go back and make the friends list.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's leaving to go make the friends list. So if you guys do want to see DMAC back, let us know. We can get him on a future show easily.
Yeah.
And schedule it.
He likes to talk.
Right now, he does. But
Oh, wait. It's Doug and Johnny.
The other thing to remember is that it was one of the reasons. There are 2 reasons why not a lot of folks are on the show today, and the regular folks. One is that, like I said, the sickness. We have the we have the plague going around, so that everybody is looking like this again. In case you missed the earlier joke.
It's disgusting.
And the other one is because we're in such a crunch right now to get a bunch of stuff into the game that there's really just not a lot of time to divert everyone. So
They don't.
keep that in mind.
They've got us on lockdown. Pretty much.
I never had shrimper once they listen to me. I'm starting to hate that word soon. How about instead of soon, we can say coming shortly. Yeah.
In the case of chat, that truly is a shortly. It's not a soon. I wouldn't be surprised if
a soon.
Internally we start messing with it really soon.
There you go. No, he's all right. Tell DMAC to love. Oh, okay. We'll let him know after the broadcast.
And we will just hound DMAC until he gets it done. We'll just make him drink a lot of beer, and he'll finish it.
I see Bubble Guidams is in the chat, too. Congrats to Bubble Guidams. Made top 12.
Oh, wow.
In this week.
Global?
Europe, I believe.
Nice.
Or maybe U.S. Let's see.
I'm really curious as to what kind of machine Hate Mail is running this capture on. He's capturing and playing at a
high rate.
At a nice frame rate.
Well, he offered actually to grab it at 60 frames on a lower resolution setting, but I specifically asked him when he offered to capture it at this one. So whatever his machine is, it's a beast.
No doubt.
Yes.
No doubt. It looks great. I haven't seen it stutter once.
That's right. Yeah. It's, I think it looks great. So Hate Mail, more footage in the future, please. That'd be great.
No
doubt. We'd like to see that. Now, one thing we mentioned earlier was the update. We don't know when the next update is specifically in a date because that's what everyone's working on now. But as you know, if you go to our forums or follow us on Twitter or go to Facebook, we'll let you know as soon as we have dates or planned, at least a planned window.
Yep.
But we did have, since our last stream, we did have another update, which was right over here.
We did.
Whoops. Wrong button. There it is. Open Beta 2.0 patch notes. And as you can see, since our last update, we've had quite a few updates. I'd say this is probably our biggest, most comprehensive update since the relaunch. Yeah. And Ben, out of all these here, what do you think makes the biggest difference in the game of all the changes that we put out in Update 3?
Well, in Update 3, we increased the respawn time, I think, across all game modes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people have been talking about that a lot. I think that changed the pacing of the game quite a bit.
Right.
I think in a positive way, but it's when you have to wait more in a game, it can be painful at times until you get used to it. Because we've had a standard of just being able to respawn so quickly, get back to playing respawn. But I think it's been a positive change overall.
For me, I think the biggest change is moving Capture the Flag back to Capture the Flag count versus the point system.
Versus before, it was sort of a TDM with the flags.
Yeah. Which honestly was kind of... so we were doing a lot of... you can tell the story of this. We were doing a lot of testing on points and different game modes before 2.0 came out. And that particular mode, I guess we never moved it back.
No, we never did.
But now it's moved back, and you guys can enjoy it, and we think it's all the better for it. And I think that if you give it a try... Actually, I'm curious. Speaking of Capture the Flag, right now we have 3 main game modes that you can play. Capture the Flag, Team Deathmatch, and Deathmatch. But what if we had a day, and this is a legitimate question for all of you, and let us know through Facebook and the forums and right now in the chat, what would you guys think if we had a day where only one game mode was specifically promoted or talked about?
Highlight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe there's something for playing that game mode in particular more often that day that you get. So an XP bonus or a gold bonus or no bonus. What would you, just in general, what would you guys think of highlighting specific game modes on certain days? And if we did do that, would some sort of incentive be necessary, or do you think playing the game mode is enough? I already know most folks are going to say incentives are great.
Incentives.
But, honestly, if because assuming we don't necessarily have the tech for that right now.
Yeah.
But, or maybe we do. I'm trying not to color them.
Yeah.
But I think it's too late. Let us know. We would really like to know. We can see Dublin Johnny and Mag again, Jeremy. Yes, I always like that aspect of Mag. So
wait a minute.
Dublin Johnny understands.
You guys had
so in
monthly
Mag
promotions for game types?
In Mag, what we would do is we would have we had a bunch of different game modes. And if you're unfamiliar, I used to work on Zipper Interactive, the team that did Mag. For that game, we had a different game type setups, and then you could have specific XP bonuses for each game type. So if you wanted to push one day, you could. Normally, we didn't promote one particular game type over the other, though. It was more just like where the numbers going. If we saw folks were playing less of this, we'd increase the XP bonus on the other. But in our case, it's more about just getting people to try to experience the game mode. Yeah.
Well, I think we did a bit of that when we started to. I don't know if we removed it, but we used to when 2.0 first came out. We had all game modes in rotation randomly, and I think we kind of scaled back on that. But it might be time to kind of put that back in. Yeah.
So let us know what you guys think about any of this stuff, and we would definitely like to know what your opinions are. Let us know on the forums at offensivecombat.com, or you can post on our Facebook page, tweet at us, do what you will. Now, we have quite a few other player questions, but before we get to those, some of you might find this next video familiar, and some of you might not. But last week we debuted a teaser for a map that you've been working on. Bring back quests.
Oh,
we're working on it.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Well, we're working on something.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not really quests.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something. Down the line. That's why you don't see them now. Down the line. Anyway, map. You're working on it. Last Resort. Here's
Last Resort.
Yeah, here's a teaser, and then you can talk about it.
It confuses me still because name's something else.
Yes.
So.
There we go. Hey, we're back. So that's Last Resort. What do you think?
Last Resort. So, speaking of game modes, we kind of are lacking right now in game mode or maps that can support objective-based matches such as CTF and Capture Point, especially CTF, because right now we have 2 or 3, and one of them honestly does not play very well, and that's what used to be known as Ghetto Blaster. There are some major issues with that, which we know about, so we do know about that one.
Now known as, you remember? Breakdown.
I don't know what it's called now. It's 2 years ago.
I know.
Yeah. So
excuse me.
Yes, I'll kill ya, or what is it called now?
I'll kill you is now the Last Resort.
Last Resort is indeed a symmetrical map. So it was actually designed with CTF and Capture Point in mind. So there will be more love for CTF and Capture Point coming.
And there are in the preliminary stages, we do have more symmetrical maps.
Yes.
In the works as well.
The next 2 maps after that map are built with competitive team play in mind as well.
There you go. So, but we can't say any more than that.
No.
I'm just letting you know we can't say any more.
No. But Last Resort, by and far is the most fun map for Capture Point that we've made.
It's also enormous.
It is enormous.
The map is huge.
So you're gonna have to buy sniper rifles.
That's right. Please.
No.
If you're curious what this game is, you're joining us for the first time. It's Offensive Combat. Play it at offensivecombat.com, or you can play it on Facebook at facebook.com/offensivecombat. Follow us on Twitter at Euphoria Games. We have that there on the screen. What are you pointing at, Ben?
Disasteroids.
Yes.
That is coming back. Actually, we are working on a fix for that right now. I don't know if anybody encountered it. But
there was a bug.
Yeah, there was a bug that would launch people into orbit.
That's right. And it was not intentional.
No. And while cool, you could sometimes land on a faraway asteroid, you would be stuck there. And oftentimes people died, so we took it out. And
that's why it is currently not in rotation. But how far along do you think that bug fix is? Do you think that's with the next update that has a friends list, or before that? Or
I would think before it.
There you go.
Yeah. So as soon as Parsons has a little bit of time.
So we're working on it. Justin Parsons, you heard his name earlier. He's one of the probably the puppet master.
Yeah. I would say it's not coming soon. No, not soon. TM. That will come very shortly.
Urinal Bergner says that Burninator has a similar bug with the jump pads.
Yeah,
Inferno.
It was a global bug with all jump pads. Some of the jump pads don't really notice it as much, but probably has to do with the network code that changed a bit.
Yeah.
2.0.
We'll get on it. We'll figure it out. We're doing it now, so hang in there, guys. And we also saw a couple of questions on Last Resort. Right now we have no update outside of the fall 2013 for that map, but it is coming. I think we're doing some art passes on it now, right?
Yeah. Vanderleest is almost done with it. The Beast. It'll come back probably before Last Resort in reference to Disasteroids.
There you go. Cool. Who's leaving? Yeah, there goes Ryan. He makes our weapons.
So many people keep saying on here and in the forums that Burninator or Inferno is too dark. And I agree. Players don't stand out as much as they probably could. So that's something that we can take a look at with Vanderleest as well.
And if there's anyone to talk to about maps, it's you and Vanderleest, right? Because you guys are the main map guys. You hash it out. It's a big team effort whenever we make maps, that's for sure.
Definitely is a team effort. But he's the go-to guy.
There you go. Go-to guy. And he's been on the show before. You guys know him. Also known as the voice of several of our several things that were in the game pre-2.0. Lower the chances for stuff breaking and crafting. So it's funny you mentioned that. Is that one of the things that we've been talking about this week also is updating the crafting system in various ways. I mean, a ton. We have to wait until Archer gets back from out of the office to really give you more details than that. But crafting right now is something we want to make it better. We want to make it more engaging for you guys. We want to make it more interesting. So that is definitely something we're working on. And the breaking and what you get and formulas and all that are all up for discussion. So stay tuned on that one.
Yeah. Crafting is one area of the game that I've stayed out of. So I have no comments about it. I really have had no impact on the design whatsoever. So it's completely neutral.
So Ben's not bitter about that.
No, actually, I'm glad to give up certain systems. Not
we have one person saying, "Where's the dildo weapon they've been asking for a year?" I'd say that was more likely a year ago than it is now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
We're a lot more in terms of the tonality of the game. It's changed. Before it was a lot more tongue in cheek, and now I'd say it's the tonality very
cheek
specifically has changed a bit. We're a little bit more serious than we used to be. So while we still have humor in some of the settings and the characters and the puns, some of the more overt stuff like, "Hey, look, here's a giant dick. Go smack someone with it."
Yeah.
Or the names of weapons and some of the puns. We've scaled back on that to kind of be more.
Yeah, but I think there's been a lot of pushback on the names of the maps.
Yeah.
I think.
That's my fault.
Yep. I don't know. Maybe we talk to Dusty and change them all back.
Dusty's watching right now, I'm sure. Hi, Dusty.
Yeah. Yeah. What we're talking about.
You guys need to limit the amount of players in free-for-all again because I keep spawning in front or behind people and die before I can move. Ben, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Zero, that's something that we've been struggling with for a long time. Because honestly, we all like to play in, let's say, what's the smallest, shortest yard used to be called? What's
Still
it
shortest
called?
yard.
The
Yeah.
shortest yard? That's an awesome map. And we kind of like it being so frenetic and having that many players. But a lot of us are players that don't care at all about our rank and our KDR. So we can definitely take that into account. We do get a lot of feedback about player spawns being an issue. Just curious, like, would people be irritated that there is a 8-person limit on some of the maps? You know?
And we tried that actually, and
We did.
the immediate reaction was, yes, they were irritated that there's
Yeah.
only an 8-person limit.
But there definitely are things that we could take a look at. Spawn logic has not been worked on for quite a while. And definitely things that we could probably do to make it better. If you guys have any specific maps that it's a big issue on, and or game modes, let us know, because that will help us, kind of narrow down where the issues are and attack those areas first.
Double Johnny says no respawn mode, guys. Make it happen. Double Johnny, longtime tactical shooter fan.
Yeah.
We had something similar way back in the early part of the open beta.
Yeah.
We had the hardcore mode and the elimination modes, and
Mhm.
we've tried various things. For now, those are out of the game. We're still. We found that just looking at the numbers, we found that the majority of our players preferred the sort of game that we are now, which is faster. Respawn is in effect, and I think over time, though, increasing the game modes and the variety of game that we have is definitely something we've been talking about for sure.
Yeah. And I agree. Dry run seems to be one of the worst offenders as far as spawn issues, especially in free-for-all mode. There's something going on there. I don't know if it's number of players or what, but yeah. If you spawn in one of the bases in free-for-all, it's not good.
Shout out to Epic Stalker, who's recorded footage for us before. He was on the stream, I want to say 3 months ago with his footage, maybe a little bit more than that. But he grabbed some more footage for us again, and this is him playing. You can see this one is captured in slightly different settings. There you see it's 12 by 80 by 720 and balanced instead of gorgeous, which is what Hate Mail Please had. And then once again, if you want to check out Epic Stalker's stuff, you can go to youtube.com/user/AvengeStalker. We appreciate all you guys in the community that have given us footage, and if you want to see your footage on a future stream, let us know. All we need you to do is send me a private message, Dunham Smash, on the forums, and say, hey, I'd like to give you some footage. And I'll make sure that you're legal, and then I'll
make sure it's
I'll
the
take
game.
it. That's right.
Yeah.
That's key.
Game footage.
It needs to be of offensive combat.
Yeah.
Preferably no live action snippets included.
No.
Let's get back to some more community questions. This is one that has come up quite a bit lately. In our original open beta, we had a skill tree where you could get skills. Yeah. And Monstran, who's a regular visitor to our stream and on our forums, wants to know, when can we see the skill tree? Do you have anything to throw out there? Yeah.
I know Michael's working on it.
There you go. That's actually what he's working on. Well, not that specifically, but yeah, he's been working on that lately.
It is more of a difficult thing right now to implement into the game due to the new weapon system and the armor system and the crafting, because it's going to be much more difficult now to balance that.
Yeah.
Make sure that we don't just create OP monsters.
And that's the trick, really, is making sure that it's balanced, because balance is the biggest deal, as everyone who's watching knows, and that's what you care about the most, is whether you have a skill or a weapon or armor, that they're all balancing against each other. And that's why it wasn't there to start off with, and why we're still working on it, because that is the thing we need to hit.
Yeah, it was not in a spot to where we would have felt comfortable releasing it. It would have been a disservice, honestly.
Drex wants to know, does the item level for either the sacrifice item or the base item affect the chance of an item going up a tier?
I don't know. I have no idea.
No, it doesn't.
No?
Well, basically, the higher the level that you have for the item that you're applying, the base item, the higher the level of your sacrifice item, the better chance you do of getting a higher level of the base item. The tier is the tiering up is essentially if you have a chance to tier up at level 100 or you don't. That's unaffected by the level of the sacrifice item.
Torque. Is that Alex?
Yeah.
I think we should make him come over here.
Oh no!
No.
Every time Alex comes over here, someone gets teabagged. For
Wait, who-
real.
He's an admin on here? Oh, we got it.
Yeah, man, we made him an admin.
Yeah.
Who else knows? Like all the running around, I didn't know that. There's a question here that I saw earlier that scrolled by. Let me go see if I can find it. There you go. Hate Mail from he's the guy that placed the footage. I'm sorry if I missed this, but is there any plus or any plans, I'm sorry, to add more reward bonuses during the game or at the end of the round for doing well? Things like getting the most kills, multiple kills, last deaths, high KDR. Rewards are something that's in flux.
Yeah.
One example is in our last update.
Hey.
Oh, look
You wanna
who
talk about
showed up.
I just wanted to say something about the skills.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
Hey guys, you guys were talking about the skills
Uh-huh.
and the difficulty in balancing.
Yeah.
One of the best ways that these are actually easier to balance than previous skills is that we have a skill loadout now.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a bunch of skills, but you can only equip 4 of them. So yeah, I think so. Yeah, and so now all these skills can be much more powerful because I don't have to have a player with 50 skills on them.
Right.
Now there's only 4 skills, so they can be much more impactful and meaningful. So when you get a skill that increases your or decreases your stability by 25% when you're crouching, like that's a huge deal. Like, so I was listening while I was working, and I wanted to.
That's right. And how far along would you say you are on figuring out or finalizing the skill system? And
The system is about 3/5 done. We have passive and active skills, and the code for active skills just isn't in yet, so that's what I'm waiting for. But the passive skills we have in, and or I'm waiting for UI. That's the bottleneck right now. So
there you go. Thanks, Michael.
yeah, so
Appreciate the clarification. And so there you guys. You guys heard it straight from the guy who's making its mouth. That's the plan for skills. And one thing I was mentioning earlier was when in response to Hate Mail's question about bonuses in rewards, our last update, we just had we give you up to 2 drops now for some of the longer pwns.
That's right.
So that's something that is in flux, like I said, and we can change it and adjust it all the time. So we are always evaluating what kind of rewards folks get. So I would say don't rule that out, but don't count on anything specific right now. It's update by update basis, but we'll keep you posted. You're looking like you see a question you want us to ask.
Yeah. Johnny says we're sad. We're not.
We're very really big apologies, but the sick level in the office is really high right now.
Johnny
Everyone
came
is
in
sick.
late.
Oh yeah,
So
very
he
sick.
messed
So
up.
great. That's another reason for me to hit my zombie button.
Yeah.
My zombie button. There it is. Yeah, that's us. That's how I feel right now. And some folks are worse off than I am.
Yeah. You should hear Vanderleest.
Yeah, he doesn't sound good at all.
Sounds like Barry White.
What I found originally looks like Barry White, which I didn't expect. Another question we have from lots of folks is, will OCR be shown in our profile sometime soon? That is something we're working on. We do want to put the OCR in the profile eventually. I don't have an ETA on that, though. But we've talked about adding that. That is going to go in eventually. I just don't know when yet.
Yeah.
It's all UI. We have a lot of stuff are dependent on UI. UI is the glue that holds it all together for the player and the user. So once we have that stuff in place, we can. But yes, it is part of the plan. And OCR is the offensive combat rating, for those of you who are curious what that means. And that's the same thing that we use to determine the top 12 and matchmaking and all that other good stuff.
Yep.
Big Bad Nudist wants to know, standalone downloadable client, how's it coming?
Standalone client is working and running. We've been testing it internally.
Aggressively.
And it runs like a champ. What was the other part of the question?
That was it.
No.
How's it coming?
It's
Coming well?
It's going well. Going well. There are some more optimizations that we can do.
Yeah.
Definitely to make it run more like a traditional PC game.
Yeah.
And eliminate some of the loading times and such.
The number one problem that we ran into with it was crashing, but we've fixed that.
Spent a lot of time digging deep into Unity's guts and figuring out what's happening with it. too much memory being used at any given time.
It's actually a question I don't know the answer to offhand. Maybe you do, Ben, and that's will the downloadable client work on OS X? Do you know if it will?
Yes.
Yes, there you go.
We will have to have two different versions, but definitely.
So there you go. I learned something now.
And
Thank you.
it's up to Unity whether or not they're going to release a 64-bit web player version.
Yes.
They have this rogue version out there that you can get off a Mega Upload or something, but...
And it's been available, and then it wasn't available, and then it was available again.
So if anybody out there wants to bug Unity for us, send them some emails and say, hey, where's our 64-bit web client?
Yeah, Offensive Combat doesn't officially support the 64-bit beta that they had out there, just the 32-bit.
Yep.
But the day that becomes an official thing is probably the day that we will support it as well, or at least pretty close, so we can get in there. That's a really long question, Johnny.
That's a lot of words.
A long-time player like most of the stream has a long-time maps. Keep us engaged. Maps. Are you going to have perhaps look at structuring the updates and sprints so people can expect certain features at a certain time? Well, we're still trying to do that now. Right? That's part of why we've in our first stream back since the reboot, we outlined specific stuff, which I just so happen to bring with me here, about when you can expect things. So friends list, when can you see that? We had Dan on earlier talking about that. If any of you guys missed that, you want to check that out. Dan went into detail about the upcoming friends list. The skills, Michael just came on to talk about that and how that's going. He said we're about 60% done, 3/5. Remember, keep in mind though, percentage done does not mean time. That's just percentage.
No, not at all. That last 10% could take more time than anything.
Yes. Or in some cases, the opposite, where it's the chunk of the time is the first 10%, and it goes. So it all depends on the feature. Some of the questions, leaderboards, where are they? That's a feature that's coming in or before our release version. You know what I'm thinking about. And are we going to have clan support? That's something that comes up a lot. Our plan is to have it released this winter. We're just trying to make sure that you guys have good approximate dates for these things without over-promising, because again, we don't want to tell you that this date is going to happen and then miss it. Because as we said earlier, frankly, we've had a couple of those. We don't want to do those anymore. We want to make sure that when we tell you something's coming, it's coming, and then that's going to happen. So if there's anything in particular you guys are curious about, you let us know, and we'll tell you to the best of our ability and as quickly as we can. And now I used that list and covered up my questions. There it is. Will there be more maps from Gravity? We talked about this earlier. Yes.
Yeah, more maps. I mean, we've got plenty of maps that have been designed.
And one we have a teaser for. Let me show it because I like to show it because I made it.
It's pretty.
There you go. So that's our next map.
Yeah.
Coming in fall. And we are working on other ones, and it's been mentioned earlier in case you missed it. The other maps we're working on besides Last Resort are also symmetrical.
Within reason.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We need to release that map first.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about those other maps in the future, but right now, in terms of our next map, it's going to be that one, and getting Disastroids, which we've renamed Series, which is what it was called originally, back into the game as well.
Yep.
And if you missed that, that was a bug that we are fixing. Yeah. Spiegel wants to know if we're going to add serviceability or ping limits. Let's talk. I think we should bring Parsons in on this one.
He's sick. I don't know if he's going to want to come
Yeah,
back.
I know.
But,
Well, everyone's sick, but
let me go
let's see.
wrangle him.
I think it's a good question, and that's something he could, or Alex could talk about it. Either one. See who's open to talking about it. While Ben goes to go grab another team member, let me just remind you guys, Offensive Combat, playable at offensivecombat.com. You can also go to facebook.com/offensivecombat, play it there. And you can like us while you're there. We have over 415,000 likes, which we're very proud of. And follow us on Twitter at Euphoria Games. And I hope you'll get the game. Free to play. Don't have to give us any money if you don't want. We like that, though, because that means more donuts for Donut Thursday, which is a big hit around here. Ben is going to go get... Aha, here's Justin Parsons. What? He is sick, so let's cough at them for half an hour. Justin, we had this question. I don't know if Ben gave you the heads up on it or anything, but Spiegel wants to know if we're going to add serviceability or ping limits. And if we aren't, why not? Can you talk a little bit about it?
That's a great question. We already do have some server limits. Right now, as in the U.S., we have servers in East Coast and West Coast. But a lot of our players are from Central America, South America, etc. So they are all ending up on the East Coast because that's the nearest server for them. So our server limits are to try and get you in the best region we can, but obviously we've got some people getting in regions that aren't necessarily close to them, so they've got bad ping. So our two options are put servers down in South America, which we're trying to do, or just let them play on the local servers for now. So a lot of the ping problems you're seeing is people from playing over satellites, basically.
So there you go.
So that's the main ping problem.
With that in mind, even assuming best case scenario, we get the servers wherever we want them, everything is set up, are we still going to set very specific ping limits on dropping folks from the game? Or we have them now, we just don't really talk about them,
yes,
right?
we've actually talked about getting ping limits in for rank matches. So the upper end ranks, trying to match people of like pings. That kind of, to do that, requires having the server infrastructure in South America and Central America, so that we can literally say like, oh, Hate Mail and his friends are all U.S. West, so let's put them together in the same kind of match. So until we get that, we can't. We've either got to rate you. We've either got to matchmake you by ping or by rating. So we choose rating right now instead of ping.
We have a question from the chat room that says, from Dark Drace, but I'm in the UK and I am on an NA server and I am getting 50.
Then you're probably not playing through the EU Facebook version of the game, which is hosted in the EU. We have no... The North American game has no servers in EU, so you basically won't play with those people. If you want to play on EU servers, then you'll need to make an account on the EU site, which requires going through Facebook for now.
Well, we also do have offensivecombat.co.uk open.
I don't know if that's open for...
It is.
Is it?
It is, yeah. We opened it last update.
Yes, then I guess you can do that. Go to offensivecombat.co.uk.
But Justin is right in terms of performance. If you're from Europe, definitely play through Facebook. If you're from North America, play through the website. If you're from anywhere else, what's your advice for anyone else?
Huh?
If you what are you reading?
I was reading this. Some connections are better than others. That's true.
It is, yeah. I mean, this is fact.
That's a Braveheart quote.
Is it from Braveheart? I am saying people with 100 plus, where are they on the moon?
100 plus is surprisingly not a bad ping. If you play with someone over satellite between North America and South America, you're going to see 200 to 250 ping as a common thing, unless they've got amazing connections.
What is as someone who deals with it all the time, what is a bad ping in our game?
A bad ping is 200 to 250 plus is a bad ping. So we have a bunch of lag compensation that handles from about 100 to 150 ping. So the minute you start seeing people teleport, bounce, they're breaking the 200 ping barrier.
You just keep getting caught off with the chat.
Chat and videos.
What are you looking at now? So before you go, because you're gonna go,
I'm not going. No, 150 is bad. I mean, if you're playing with a bunch of friends on a LAN server, right, you're seeing 20, 15 ping. If you're playing Counter-Strike on a local Seattle server and you're all from relative close states, you're going to see 50 to 80 ping. But if you're playing with everyone in the West Coast or everyone in the East Coast, you're going to see 100, 150 pings just by nature of how far apart you are.
Until the day that fiber optic gets everywhere.
And yeah, until Google Fiber gets out of Kansas.
That's right. So, write your local congressman when he gets back to work. That's
awesome.
But before you go, the one question for you right now, you work on a lot of very important systems. Dan came over, talked about what he's working on right now. What are you working on for the next update right now that we can talk about?
So Dan talked about friends. We are doing friends list. We do want chat in there. We do want to do parties. I don't know if anyone's talked about that.
Not really, but
All right, well, play with friends, basically. We want you to be able to play with your friends as it. The key.
shoot roulette.
You end up in a random video. Who knows what you're going to see? Maybe Ben Folds 5 will show up and play a video for you.
Awesome.
So chat, a lot more ranking changes. You've seen the ranks. People say they're BS. They're truly based on if you're winning, your rank is going up. If you're losing, your rank is going down. So if you had a couple bad games, your rank goes down. That's what happens. We do want to add a little more compensation for that to let you lose a few, win a few, and not shift ranks so bad. So we've got changes there.
And that system's been in flux, and in the last I like that word. I've used it twice or 3 times in the stream. In the last update, we increased from 1750-ish to 2000 now is the range. So that's an example of how we're starting to get a little bit more variety.
So
in
if
there.
you break 1700 is the barrier where we consider the high-end players, and we sort of curve off the ranking at that point. So if you're breaking 1700, then you are winning far more often than you're losing. 2000 is the theoretical cap, and you could only hit that if you won every game, like 100 games in a row. Yeah.
What about so this is a great question from Scungy or Scungy, whichever one it is.
Scungy.
And what if a player joins mid-game? Are they at a disadvantage?
Yes and no. If you join mid-game, you are going to earn less points than everyone else, just by nature of not being there as long. But your OCR rank change is gauged by how long you've been in the game. So if you earn, say the average points by people in your team is 100 points, and you only earn 50 because you were only there half time, you're considered an average player for that game. So you're going to get the average points.
So one of the questions coming up right now is it only based on team wins? Is it based on more than that?
It's based on more. Team win is the primary consideration. So a loss will always lose points, possibly lose no points, but you cannot get points from a loss, and vice versa. You cannot lose points from a win. So team game is the main thing, and then we take your personal score compared against your team average scores and kind of adjust that even more. So if you're not playing and helping your team and your team wins, you might get a point or two out of it, as opposed to the guy who got 90% of the points is going to get almost all the OCR change for that match.
And here's another question from someone's name in bright green, so I can't read it. Does leaving a game affect your rating at all?
Yes, do not leave a game. If you leave the game, you will not get OCR rank change from it. And there are penalties that are implied from leaving a game.
There you go. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. If you guys want to see Dan or Justin or Ben or anybody on the show more regularly, just let us know and we'll bring them back. You guys are usually just so busy we tend not to bug you, but
Yeah, that's
it's always helpful.
8Mail's got a question here. How about OCR? How does quitting come into play? You quit out, team goes down. So it affects you in terms of you will not get OCR rank change, and you will actually get a penalty to your rank deviation. Affecting your team, it doesn't hurt them at all. It just spreads the average team points out more, and it doesn't calculate your points into that. So to them, it doesn't matter whether you leave or not.
And Aerosmart says, I am from Palestine. Please read it. Oh, there it is. What about Facebook accounts? What about Facebook accounts?
They're the same as everyone else?
Yeah. It applies. What about the levels? If by levels, if you mean in the old version of the game, those superficial rankings are no longer part of the game. The OCR is the main way that we rank you now, and that's for matchmaking and for who the top players are. And again, here's a quick list of an example.
Best names ever. Urinal burglar.
So you see the
That's my cake.
here you see the world ratings for not a Super Bowl's number 1 has a high OCR of 1975. That's really good. And then Aspartame is next. Daniel Weinar, 3 question marks 20. Is that actually 3 question marks, or is it just a foreign character?
I think
and
we
can't...
lost the foreign character somehow.
Okay. So whoever you are, good job. And then I'm giving up on this one. P. Pavlidis. Pavlidis. That's Greek. And Malver, 8Mail, please. Drex, Phil, J. Chin, 43. M. Larson, and Bizzo, top 12. And as you see, that runs the gamut from all over Europe to places in Southeast Asia to the United States to even Denmark.
Yes, 8Mail has a 7.2 KDR. He is probably the highest
nuts.
KDR of all of our players.
That's
that
right.
guy is insane.
Yeah, there are a few other super high KDRs, but I've yet to see someone with one that high. And that's why watching this footage right now is cool, because you're seeing the guy with the highest KDR play. So thanks to him. See, email right there. Go to YouTube. Thanks, man. I
problem.
appreciate it. I shake your hand, but we're gross. Right.
Enjoy. I licked the mic for you.
Thanks.
Jesus.
Wow, that went by fast. There you go. Purell is your friend. Well, that's the show. Yeah. For those of you who just joined us, offensivecombat.com. You can go play the game for free. You can also go to facebook.com/offensivecombat and play the game there. Follow us on Twitter, Euphoria Games. We have a lot of stuff in the works. We've already showed you several times the Last Resort map that's coming up this fall. We also have, as the last time we were here, we'll show you again, we have new weapons on the way. We have this, the Victor, last time we didn't have names, I can tell you what we're calling it now. This is the Victor, the CRS Victor is what that's going to be known as. We also have, we have this, which I named and I forgot what I called it, but it's cool. And here's the famous H3. And these are all upcoming as well. And another one of the weapons that we didn't talk about last time that is coming soon is we have our version of the Dragunov is coming. We're going to call that the Dragoon. And we also have a brand new manufacturer with all new sci-fi weapons in the works, a whole bunch of them. So look for those in the near future. I know I'm trying to leave, but Nicolin's asking a question. Please answer Green's question. Okay, where's Green? Does being team balanced to the losing team make you lose rank? Gah!
And Parsons just left.
I know. We can go find out. Hold on.
Oh, D-Mac answered.
There you go. Thank you, D-Mac. Yes, it does. So now you know. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
DanMac63, who's in the forum, says he asked. Thank you, DanMac. Okay, so next show, October 18th? October 19th? October 17th. October 17th. We should be 100% less sick then. Or I will be, and then you might be sick.
Yeah,
don't know who will be on that show, but we'll be back on October 17th. We will have some new stuff to show you then. I think probably some updated news also in regards to a lot of the stuff that we've talked about throughout the show. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please go to offensivecombat.com, click on our forums link, go to our customer service if you have any problems. Drop us lines on Twitter and Facebook. We're here for you guys. Let us know. We will see you next time. Thank you, Ben, for coming in. You're not wearing your headset?
I know. I'm not touching. Tell him I'm not touching that.
All right. Appreciate all you guys for watching the show, and we'll see you next time.